All right, I'm doing this video because the comment section on the video I recently did, the video's up here, going over the lawsuit between Candace Owens and the French president and his wife are like insane on stuff. And it's just gotten to the point where I keep responding to the same comments. So I said, you know what? I got to do a video to respond to all these comments at once because it seems like people are just being like ridiculous with their response. So the first thing I think I'm going to need to address is that you had a lot of people said, hey, Nate, this video is so biased. It's crazy. It's only like it's from one side. It's only the Macrons saying this bad stuff about Candace. My response to that? What did you expect? The Macrons have written a civil complaint against Candace Owens. Of course it's biased. Of course it's going to be against the other side. Of course it's going to make her look unreasonable. Of course they're going to overplay the evidence they presented. Why would they not, right? I'm reading the complaint. And if it wasn't biased, I would say it's a bad complaint. It's not going to be neutral. It's not going to say, well, Candace has a point here. No, it's going to say everything she's saying is nonsense and we need to get paid. And it seems like people don't understand that's what's going to be in the complaint. That's the way you cover a complaint. Here's the allegations. Here's what they're saying. Do you think on the face of the complaint, do they have a shot? Here are some of those comments. Nate, it's clear that your comments are based more on personal bias than a well-rounded understanding of the case. I don't have a well-rounded understanding of the case. I'm reading the complaint and what the complaint alleges. And if they allege X, Y, and Z, of course it's going to be biased because it's the Macrons putting in a very biased one-sided document to say, here's the craziness, right? So now if Candace has put something else out, I'll read that, you know, when she tells the court, well, this is why the Macron's complaint is all BS. And then I'll read it and I'm like, oh, this is why this was right. These aren't crazy allegations. Here's another one. Nate, because you might have some bias against Candace, my impression. What bias? The bias is in the complaint, right? The complaint says you are dumb and these are bad allegations. So yeah, I'm reading the complaint, which is obviously biased against Candace. So then it leads us to the next question. Why didn't I watch Candace's 6-part series, Becoming Brigitte? So here are some of those comments. You need to watch the series, right? You have to watch the series. Nate, watch the series. We expect better from you. Crazy accusations. I take you didn't watch all the information from Becoming Brigitte. Now, I want to respond to this directly. No, I did not. I am not going to watch the series. I don't care about the series. I think the series, a 6-part series on whether this person's a man or woman, is a dumb series. But there's a whole bunch of people who want to watch it and a whole bunch of people who like it. That's fine. I care nothing about the series. You know what I do care about? What Candace says about the complaint. So I'm assuming Candace Owens knows exactly what's in that complaint and exactly the evidence that refutes those particular claims, right? I don't have to watch her 6-part series. She's going to tell it to us in a condensed, surgical way to say this is why all of this stuff is junk. So I'm waiting for her response. And her response to the complaint is going to be biased, one-sided, and written in a way that clearly makes her look like the victim and everything that she says is correct, right? Just like the complaint was saying how they're the victims and everything they're saying is correct. So until I get that response from Candace and her attorneys, which they have to do, which they are going to do, then why would I watch the series and do her work for her? She's going to tell me why exactly. So the first video about the complaint is going to be biased. It's going to be all about what the Macrons say because that's who's telling us the story. We haven't heard from the other side yet. So yeah, I'm not going to watch Candace's 6-part series. Are you crazy? No. You know why? Because Candace is going to tell me exactly what parts of those 6-part series are relevant that disprove that complaint. I'd rather do it that way than me sitting there and watching all 6 hours and saying, what does, no. And another thing is the court is probably never going to watch that 6-part series. So it may even be irrelevant to the court case. What will be relevant is what Candace puts in front of the court as a response. So yeah, I don't have to watch the 6-part series to read the complaint and say, hey, these are crazy allegations, and then read Candace's response to the complaint and say, okay, these allegations are debunked by what she says. That's the way it's always been. That's the way we do every lawsuit here. So I don't know why. It's laughable when someone says, Nate, this video is biased. You're reading the complaint. Yeah, the complaint is going to be biased. The video is going to be biased. Why? Because it's only one side of the story. And when I do the video for Candace, guess what? It's going to be biased. It's going to be biased for Candace. Why? Because it's going to be telling her side of the story. Like, look at this comment as one that doesn't understand what reading the complaint is. He or she, I'm not sure, you need to watch the series. That is not her wedding pic. It's her deceased sister's wedding pic. He was not 15 when they started their affair. He was 14. She was near 40. Really, watch the series. It's mental, but all backed up with sound evidence. That is your opinion. Think about this. The Macrons have put out a legal document with that picture in it saying that's her, right? You're telling me, hey, in the series, Candace said it's her deceased sister and they had evidence. Okay, fine. But I don't trust that. I don't know if Candace is going to use any of that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait for Candace to reply to the court, which she has, I think, about a month to do. She's going to reply and say, hey, that's actually not her wedding pic, but her deceased sister's. And then we come back and we look and we say, oh my God, it was her deceased sister's. Here's the evidence Candace put forward to court. But Candace may not put any of that. She may say, hey, that evidence is wrong after we reviewed it. I don't know. But I can only go with what she's going to respond to the court because that's the only opinion that matters. And the only opinion that's going to be informed by that information is the court's opinion. Now, there are some lawyers out there who think Candace Owens is done. Here is Robert Barnes. He's going to tell you he thinks she's done, she's finished, she's going to have to pay.
She really believes it. She thinks it's all factual, and she wouldn't back off of anything. Anything. I mean, claiming somebody's their brother. I mean, for example, confusing intersex treatment with transitioning. Those are two totally different things. Totally different things. And she's busy falsely accusing, hey, you brother, you don't exist. Hey, you parents, you don't exist. Hey, you mother, you're really a transitioning leader. Oh, Louis Vuitton, you wear Louis Vuitton. Oh, that means you're into the trans movement. What the hell? I don't believe anything Candace is saying in this regard. I think she's batshit insane and belongs in a loony bin. We'll get to the Trump asylum stuff later. I think she's a pure grifter. Hey, everybody, you never go full retard. You know what else you don't do? Never go full Kanye. Never go full Kanye. Is that they told her it was wrong over and over again, that they included, birth certificates, official government documents, photographs, other newspaper reportings of her birth and a whole bunch of her marriage and so on and so forth, all of which Candace says is fake, basically. But produced all of this, that everybody, that the Daily Mail had debunked it years ago, that every independent review had debunked it repeatedly as to each and every one of those statements. And then they would say, you said this was in a documentary, it's not. You said this wasn't in a documentary. They would go, so when I was going through, it's only like 125 plus factual statements of different kinds you'd have to defend as a defense lawyer. It's like the chances you win on all of them are none. So it was like she's going to get hit. And then the only question is, what's the verdict size? And you look at how a normie would respond to this. It's not like Sandy Hook, but they're still going to respond really badly. And so the verdict's going to be very high.
Now, just to be clear, that's Robert Barnes. That's the attorney for Alex Jones, that guy. That's Alex Jones' attorney. And he is telling you these things. Remember, Alex Jones had to pay $1 billion, or has to pay $1 billion for defaming the Sandy Hook families. And Robert Barnes also defended Nicholas Sandman. Remember, that was the teen who the news organization was calling a racist. He got a settlement for that guy. So Robert Barnes has been on both ends of the spectrum, the loss and the win. With that being said, I'm not going that far as Alex Jones' attorney is going. I'm saying the complaint, reading it in the best light of the plaintiff, is 50-50 to me. So with that being said, when Candace responds, he's going to read her response. I'm going to read her response, and then I'll say, well, her response makes their complaint even better, or it makes it even worse, and she's going to win. Now, the difference between me and Robert is Robert's already come to that decision based off the complaint. He says the complaint's so strong, he doesn't really imagine anything she can say that's going to change his mind. I'm saying the complaint was really good. It had a lot of details in it, but I can see Candace saying, well, here's the reason why I don't believe that wedding photo is 100% real. And here's the evidence that shows that why it's not. I just don't know. And I'm not going to watch the series because she may not even point to anything in that series. She may have some other information. So that's why I want to make sure I'm only evaluating what the court's evaluating, because the outcome of this case is not going to be off things that were just said on the internet. It's going to be on things that were presented to this judge. Now, at the end of the day, I did this video so people out there who expect me to watch Candace's 6-part series on Brigitte Macron being a man, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to watch it. I don't need to watch it. You know why? Because Candace is going to tell me why the Macron's complaint was BS and why the evidence she has debunks what they said. At least that's what she's supposed to do when she responds to the court. And also, the Macrons. I expected their complaint to be one-sided, to be biased, as it was, as everyone in the comment section easily realized. I am not going to do Candace Owens' lawyer's job and say, this is how you debunk all their claims. She's going to do it. She's got the high-powered attorneys, and they're going to respond. And it's funny because when she responds to all this stuff, you're going to see the exact reverse. People who hate Candace are going to be like, oh, this is so biased for Candace. And then it's going to be like, no, it's reading her response. It has to be biased for Candace. It wouldn't make sense if it wasn't. So hopefully this let all you people out there know why I'm not watching Candace's series, why I don't care that the complaint was one-sided and biased, because it's supposed to be one-sided and biased, and the fact that when Candace does respond, we will find out why she believes she should win this case. And the reason why I'm going to wait for that. Now, matter of fact, let me step back. Candace may point to parts in her video series that we should watch to help determine, if these allegations are correct. I'll definitely watch those, right? It's Candace's job to point directly to the information that makes her side more credible. And I'll be waiting for her to do that. Now, I don't know what she's going to, I'm curious, but I think I want to at least give her that opportunity. And then when I do the video based on what she's saying, it's obviously going to lean heavily toward believing what she says to be true. So until that happens, we're stuck, but it should be happening within the next month. Now, at that point in time, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do like your YouTube stuff. I hope this cleared up a lot of the craziness in the comment section. Like, you gotta watch Candace's 6-part series. No, I just have to read the complaint, because the only thing I'm doing is covering the 200-page complaint, and the information they say is the reason why they should be paid millions of dollars because they were defamed. And then we'll see how Candace responds to that. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do like your YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out. Peace.